Well, in August 2019, Keith was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer with 3 to 5 months to live. In the meantime, our local surgery in Shaftesbury, the Abbey View practice, got in touch with their district nurses and asked them to keep an eye on Keith. Sue Grimstead and her team, usually Sue would ring up to find out how Keith was there anything we needed, did we need any help? And in actual fact, for the first 2 or 3 months, he went very well. There was no problem. I was looking after him. Eventually, Keith became more and more frail, and Sue kept her calls more regular. She was 2 or 3 times a week by then, and eventually she came to see us once a week, and she kept saying, well, as soon as you need us, just let us know. We're always here for you. Don't try and struggle and carry on your own. By November, he was getting quite weak and sleeping a lot. And Sue suggested that as soon as we needed it, as soon as Keith couldn't get upstairs, they could supply a hospital bed. And I kept saying, well, he's managing all right at the moment. We don't want to go down that line just yet. We wanted Keith to be at home as much as possible. We managed until just after Christmas. Then he had a bad fall, and we decided that then was the time. So I rang Sue. She got everything organised, and by the Monday morning, 9 o'clock, the bed was installed, and the district nurse rota was automatically handed to me. She'd done it all over the weekend. She was absolutely brilliant. And from then on, we had 3 nurses a day. They came in, they washed him, they made sure he was okay, and it took a huge, huge weight off my mind. Keith, in the meantime, was on diamorphine by this time. They decided to give him a syringe driver. So Sue came in, she set it all up. She was here with us for about 2 hours. She was absolutely amazing. Their kindness always, their gentleness, the way they talk to you and the way they treat you, not only the patient but the carers. And it was a huge boost to my morale and a huge relief to me, because I knew Keith was being taken care of 100%. There was nothing more anybody could do for him. We knew he was on his way out, and we just wanted it to be calm and peaceful as possible. Anyway, on 2 occasions, on the Saturday night and the Sunday night, in the middle of the night, Sue came over and decided that because one of the Marie Curie nurses had been in, and she wasn't happy with the way he was in pain, so she came over and they ordered the SOS, the out of hours service, to come in. And they came in and they bumped up only the district nurses can do this, the Marie Curie nurses can't, so they bring in the district nurse team. There are always 2 of them. They're lovely. They're always a huge pair, in characters and personalities. they'll be there for you, and they're kind and they're generous. They give their all. There's no question about it. They're absolutely wonderful. They really are. It made my experience very much more peaceful. It was peaceful and calm, and I knew that he was out of pain, and it made it much easier for me and for my daughter. You know, we've been able to grieve, obviously, but we hadn't, because even though we knew it was coming. But it was just this wonderful backup we had around us all the time. Just kept all the anxiety, no depression. I haven't been depressed at all because I've known that everything was done for Keith that could possibly be done right from the word go. And I feel very blessed that we were fortunate enough to experience that. I feel we were very lucky. It was wonderful because I could sit back and relax and look after him mentally and talk to him and hold his hand, put his music on and read to him and this sort of thing. As soon as Susan's team came in, I had this let up. I could cook myself a meal, you know, without worrying about Keith and this sort of thing. It was lots of things like that it made a difference because I could start thinking straight.
Yes.
Because in the meantime, I was thinking constantly about him, and that responsibility was taken off me, and it was again a huge relief because somebody was looking after him, and I knew he was getting the best possible care, you know, that anybody could give him.
If you thought Keith was going to say something about the district nursing today, in just very short, what do you think he would say about the district nursing team?
Oh, he loved them. He always used to have a lovely smile on his face when they came in, and when they left, he thought the world of them. He really did. He knew how lucky we were, but he was very, very appreciative of everything they did, especially when they giggled, when they bathed him or changed the bed or anything, and they always had a joke and a giggle, and he enjoyed that. That's another thing. They made it light-hearted. It wasn't a somber Victoriana type episode when they came to change the bed or wash him. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It was all very light-hearted and very gentle, and it was so much appreciated. Oh yes,